Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Episode 641, new breed on the block. Koil Snakes, aka ToeHold, in the building tonight. It's gonna be one for a book in the books, man. And of course, with me, the one and only Big E, Big E, Top G.
What up? What up?
I thought I was gonna have to reschedule this, bro. This close.
Well, anyone out there knows, man. You're always on point,
dude. All I gotta say is,
you know.
Anytime your wife says that, hey, Leo doesn't have to wear diapers anymore, you should kind of take that with a grain of salt. Leo's rocking chonies in the trap, and that fool, I had him right here on the desk watching the show while I was getting ready, and I hear like small little raindrops, and I'm like, what the fuck's dripping off my desk? And I look, and it's piss. He pissed on my desk. And he pissed. Okay, so he pissed in my keyboard, my wireless keyboard, which kept me from logging in. So I haven't been able to log in to my desktop for the last 2 hours. And so, anyways, dude, I had to fucking get laptops out, and some of them weren't turning on. And it was like, dude, anyway, I'm here. Like you said, on point. I don't miss. We don't miss.
Yeah. Hey, piss happens.
Piss happens. I don't even know what else is ruined. I mean, this is dangerous because his piss went off this way where all my plugs and everything's all like, so I don't even know, dude. It smells in my room right now for sure. But anyways, bro, AG, dog. We got AG in the building tonight. Yeah. Looks good. I'm excited. How you been, bro? Well, first off, let's catch up. What's going on with you?
Not much, bro. Just had the weekend off, long weekend. It was amazing. Wish I could have gone out on the boat one more day.
Yeah. Dude, that looked fun, bro. That looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Took Paul out there for the first time. It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. When's your next show that you're vending?
This weekend coming up, Lakeland.
Lakeland?
Yeah, Lakeland, Florida. Yeah.
All right. And then that's a 2-day show or 1 day?
2 days. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just curious, how many animals do you currently have at your table at this time of year?
I probably have 30 animals left.
30 animals?
And I have nothing posted on Morph Market because I need those animals for shows.
Damn.
But I have about 40 eggs cooking already, so things are starting to go and get better,
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I'm kind of all over the place. All I got to tell you is I'm real excited for tonight's guest. Miguel's homie, a friend of Miguel, which I don't really know the backstory and how they met, but Miguel's personality, how he is, man. He attracts some of the best people we could possibly get into the hobby. So I'm real curious to learn about AG. What's crazy is obviously this is a new hobby for this guy, but what he has else going on, like with the ToeHold business, his fucking chancla business. You see that?
Yeah. What I could tell you is since I started following him, he's a master in-your-face marketer.
Yeah.
And, his stuff looks amazing. I've looked at it. I'm very interested by his stories.
Me too.
He knows what sells, right? You know, he's got that mix in there as well.
Yeah.
Guy's a beast, man.
Yeah. I don't want to win.
Can't wait to see what he thinks about our industry as a whole, what brought him in, lured him in, you know. Can't wait.
Yeah. I don't want to waste any more time. I want to bring him on. You ready or what?
Go.
All right, listen, I appreciate all the love in the chats. I see you guys, man. Holy shit. You see this, by the way? God damn, bro. Where'd it go?
Bro.
Where'd it go? There it is. Holy fucking shit. God damn. Krug Exotics. Hey, listen, I get it. You're coming on Monday night. We got you.
We already talked about it.
We got you, Krug. Hey, but keep sending those super chats, dog. I appreciate it. But all right, listen, guys. You guys are in for a treat. All right. Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated, because we're going to get down to business tonight with AG Koil Snakes, a.k.a. ToeHold, coming at you right now. Let's go. G.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And we're live, episode 641. Big dog AG in the building. What's up, AG?
Gentlemen, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Dude, thanks. Hey, sorry for all the technical difficulties earlier. Jesus.
Oh, look at that shirt, bro. It's a good-looking shirt you got on.
Yeah, hey, listen, hey, I'm not trying to make you not included, Emilio. I'm sorry, but holy shit, look at this shit. This shit is hard.
That's style.
Came in yesterday, and I was like, oh, perfect timing. I was like, this is exactly what I need just for the episode. But listen,
Cool.
like Emilio said, we've been following you pretty closely the last few months. I love the energy, man. Like I'm all attracted to business mindset individuals, because like a lot of the things that weren't really taken advantage of in the industry, reptile industry years ago, was the business side of things. And then people like Justin and Miguel and Ozzy, like these people started just leveling everything up. And I kind of see that energy with you, AG. But you know, you come from a business background, right? Like you own multiple businesses or one. Can we kind of catch up on what you do?
Yeah, it's crazy to be included in those guys' names. Obviously, I'll probably be the least experienced breeder you've ever had on the show. Brand new.
We're okay with that. Trust me. It's not all about having clutches. You know what I'm saying?
But from the business aspect, so I own a company named ToeHold. We make really high-end flip-flops, the most expensive, highest quality flip-flops on the planet. We hold multiple world records. Been blessed that they've become so popular. They're worn from normal people that work at gas stations and truck drivers all the way to the president owns a pair. Yeah. So actually a couple pairs. So virtually everybody in every aspect, you know, despite them being really expensive, when people see something of quality, they're attracted to it and they'll reach out and grab it because they know the quality's there. And there's a lot of like the quote unquote hype with our company, but there's no hype with the product. The product speaks for itself. The product's solid. It's stable. It started from the ground up. It started with just me making a pair of flip-flops for myself. Never wanted to sell them to anybody. Just wanted the best pair for myself because I wear them everywhere. I
Right.
grew up in San Diego, so it's always
Yeah.
on the beach or in the mountains or like walking down the jetties, down the bluffs. They need to
Yeah.
hold up. Same thing. You're in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Miami. You're in San Diego too, right?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. I'm in Spring Valley.
So beach communities, right?
Yeah.
And what happens? The thong pulls out, you get left stranded. So I just set on this crazy, obsessive mission to create my own flip-flops just for myself that were unbreakable. And during that, I never wanted to start a brand, but lots of people asked me for them along the way. And I tell people, nah, this isn't for you. These are for myself, And then sooner or later, a buddy got a pair and another guy got a pair, and it started growing just really slow, really organic. We didn't even name the company for a long time. There was nothing to name. It was just me in my hot 122-degree shop in Las Vegas, making flip-flops, saying no to pool parties, saying no to going to the club, saying no to going to the beach, saying no to everything, and just being psychotically obsessed with the details. And I've done jujitsu for virtually my whole life since I was 13. So I think it's 35 or 36 years now I've done jujitsu.
Respect,
This
dude.
is 3 years before the UFC even came out, I was already training. So
Wow.
because of that, I just happen to have a lot of friends. Like you guys have a lot of friends in the ball python industry and other industries. I have a lot of friends in the jiu-jitsu MMA industry.
Yeah.
So just teammates were like, bought a pair, they wore them, they advertised them. And, this guy has a big UFC fight coming up. He would push them. Ben Askren would push them. Paige Van Zandt would push them. And it just started happening very natural, very organic. And it just always been me in my garage growing the brand by myself and just being very meticulous with all the details. Now we've grown into, I guess you'd call it a global brand. We ship all around, virtually daily. Our stuff goes around the world. The biggest names on the planet: Joe Rogan,
Dude,
Dana
epic.
White, Donald Trump Jr. You name them, people are buying them. They wear them. Even the president of El Salvador wants to get a pair. Buccelli, I think his name is Buccelli. So, and we hold a world record for the most expensive pair of flip-flops ever sold. Well, the exact term is the most expensive pair of leather flip-flops ever sold.
What were those?
They were what's called a Himalayan crocodile. It's like a pure white crocodile with like a little bit of gray on the edges. Beautiful, beautiful pair of flip-flops. And they were bought by a guy in Texas who wears them in the mud to the shooting range.
Oh shit!
Think about the space, right? The space is Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Christian Dior, all those mega brands. That's who we're competing for that top spot. That's who we're competing for the top leather. And we're still obviously a microscopic company compared to those juggernauts. I think the richest guy on the planet, it goes back and forth between like Elon, Bezos, and the dude who owns Louis Vuitton. Like those are like the richest guys on the planet.
Right.
So that's who we're competing up against as far as like quality and like, I guess you'd call it the market, but ours is different. Like we're not a fashion brand. We make really high quality shit for dudes that just want stuff that's not going to break. And then you think about nowadays, there's certain things if you have money, you could go buy. If we're all rich, we could go out and we could buy anything Louis Vuitton makes. We could buy any car Mercedes makes. We could buy virtually any car Ferrari makes. But you can't go get a pair of black African elephant flip-flops no matter how much money you get, because nobody has it and money doesn't generate more of it. And people can't make it at the quality we make it at, nor do they have the desire to do so. Just like you have to have a lot of money. If you want to go buy some crazy rare snake that Justin has, he has the only one. Money may not buy that snake from him. There's certain things you can't get and there's certain things you can get. And these are one of those things that just because you have money doesn't mean you could get it. And you want to buy your girl something special she's never had before in her life. That's what we have. The leathers we have in my shop, most humans have never, ever seen them before. And to give you an example, we judge gold and diamonds as some of the rarest things. Like if you're like, what's precious, it's gold, it's diamonds, it's all that shit. Dude, you'll see gold and diamonds everywhere. You go down to the beach, you're going to see chicks with diamond rings. You're going to see chicks at the grocery store with diamond rings. They're everywhere. But you've never seen anybody with elephant leather before. You've never seen anybody with shark leather. Maybe you've seen somebody with a crocodile strap watch, like a really high-end one. But that's it. We got hippo in the garage that killed a guy in Botswana. grabbed him with these giant 18-inch like teeth they have, just shook him to pieces, killed him. One of the rangers shot him through the heart, went through the whole tanning process, got all the CITES tags, and then brought it over to the US and our customers purchase it. So you could go to an event and you can have a pair of flip-flops on your feet that has killed a human being before. And you
Yeah,
can't
murder hippos.
Dude,
Dude,
so that's in a nutshell what we do.
that's pretty awesome. And yeah, man, I feel like ever since I started following, because you obviously, you know, like you said, when you grow up by the beach, like wearing sandals is the norm, you know. And I grew up wearing rainbows, and to me, I always thought rainbows was like the toughest. I always thought those were the toughest sandals, but then now, like, I wear sandals so much on a day-to-day basis where those rainbows don't last anymore. Like I go through rainbows probably at least once a year now.
Yeah, that's pretty common for them. They're a great brand that we were buddies when we first started the company. They were real instrumental in helping us get our start.
Yeah.
We haven't talked to them in quite a while, but they do something quite a bit different than what we do. They make something that's affordable for every single person. $50 flip-flop, anybody can afford it, right?
Yeah.
But they're using all their materials come from China. Most of their flip-flops are made in China, but they do a small batch in San Clemente. They make them by hand, but they're made with Chinese materials. Very, very inexpensive materials, inexpensive quality, inexpensive design. And rainbows is what I was wearing. Most people, I never talk about this, but rainbows is what I was wearing when my flip-flops broke on that hike. And that's what made me move forward on making my own flip-flops. And a question people always ask, are you going to use the snake skins for your flip-flops?
I was going to ask you that.
Snake leather sucks bad. It's probably the worst leather. It's the worst. So
that's cool.
Would we use it? No. We've had some python before, but like big invasive species from like Burmese it's flaky, it's brittle. You could rub it off. It's very, very low quality. That's why you don't really see it. You can see some old school cowboys with like rattlesnake boots, but the scales are going to lift up. They're going to shrivel and they're going to look really bad really quick. So in the scope of leather, snake is probably at the very, very bottom of quality.
What's been the top for you?
Black elephant. Yeah, elephant's gnarly. Like when you guys come to Vegas, you could grab it. It's soft, it's supple. You could curl it up in your hand like a sheet, or like a t-shirt. But if you got something sharp and scratched it, it doesn't give a shit. It's not gonna wear at all. It has a callus on it, and all the stuff we get is all ethically sourced. So it comes from, either there's a depredation tag where it's like it's killed a villager, it's destroyed fencing, it's destroyed a farm, or it died of natural causes. And then the government will take that hide, they'll tan it, it'll have a CITES tag that'll come over to us. We'll pay for it or we'll bid on it at the tannery. Then that money directly goes back to park funding.
That's that's awesome. Good.
What happens in Africa is, there's different versions of Africa. There's like the American white people version of what they think Africa's like. Then there's the real Africa. So in Texas, we know that like pigs destroy everything, right? Yeah. They destroy crops and they're super a nuisance, and like they'll kill your dog, they'll kill your livestock, they'll destroy your fields, and everyone agrees, just go out and kill those pigs. There's too many of them. That's how elephants are in Africa. They're a nuisance animal that destroys villages, kills villagers. You and your family could be like on the verge of just destitute, no income, no nothing. You guys take the last little bit of money you have and you work all day in this bullshit soil to plant some seeds for some plants that'll yield you virtually nothing, right? And you'll work for months on that. And one night, an elephant will walk in and destroy all of that. Destroy your fence, destroy your well, destroy your wagon, kill your wife, kill your husband. So villagers are like, we want to just wipe them out. We want to exterminate them. And the game wardens are like, listen, let's just kill the one that's the problem and we'll leave the rest. And the only reason that works is through programs like ours, where a game warden will go in, they'll take care of the nuisance animal, they'll reward the family a little bit of money maybe to offset the damages, or they'll go through and they'll wipe out the entire herd, and then so long for elephants. So programs like this are vital to maintaining, the species as a whole, because they hate them over there. You can't give an elephant away in Africa. People hate them.
Damn. All right, before we switch gears, I know people are already asking, like, what's up with the link to ToeHold? Well, listen, I would definitely go check out this man's Instagram, toe_hold. I'll put all the links in the description below. And I can't wait to get a pair, bro. I really can't. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked.
Oh yeah, that's a black elephant right there.
There you go. I want in. So anyways, all right. So I got to ask you now, AG, you know, obviously with you already having your ventures with the sandal business, what brought you over to the ball pythons and how did this work? How did this happen?
Yeah, so without going too long into the story, I was just getting some artwork framed. Right next door was a pet shop. Went in, grabbed a corn snake for my girl's kids. Just as I didn't ask her, just grabbed one and was like, I'm just gonna surprise them with the snake. Went to her house, handed her the sack, and she's like, what the hell is this? Had the tank in the back. So go back to get a rat a couple days later, and they had some ball pythons. I was like, oh, that one's kind of sick. Of course, it's like this super cool spider, right? Looks rad, cool.
Of course.
Cool, cool dorsal, all that stuff, right? So I pick one up, and then I go online. I start looking at all the care videos. How do you take care of them? What do you do? How do you feed them? Where do they like to live? All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I seen a dreamsicle, right? Classic story. I was like, damn, that thing's sick. So I go to the pet store. I was like, hey, I want to get one of these. Order one for me. And the guy's like, they're kind of expensive, bro. I was like, how much are they? He's like, dude, they could be like $500, $700. I was like, I don't care what they cost. Get me one. So he calls this guy up who's a tiny, tiny breeder. Like he maybe had 10 snakes in the edge of Las Vegas. And I go to his house. I buy a couple. They weren't even dreamsicles. They were just like, they're lavender albinos.
Okay.
But they look cool. I bought them, kept them as pet. Now I got 3 snakes, 2 lavender albinos and a spider, and just solely pets. I like the way they looked. You know, I had them in aquariums. And then watching more videos, I see these things called racks. I was like, what the hell are these things? Why are you keeping them in racks? So I was like, well, of course I need an ARS rack. So I order them up, get some racks to my house. I get a 10-70-10, I think it's called, or 10-70, 70-10, right? So 70 tubs, 10 high. And then I was like, well, now I got room for more snakes. So I get on Morph Market and I started looking up snakes. I just started buying them. Zero interest in breeding. Zero. I was only buying what I like to look at.
Right.
And like I grew up super poor. I was super poor growing ToeHold up. Worked for Apple and a bunch of companies as an adult. So I made some decent money. But now with ToeHold, we make a nice amount of money. You know, we do pretty well. So I get to buy virtually whatever I want. You know, luckily I don't have expensive tastes, you know. But so I started buying like $3,000-$4,000 just pet snakes, things that I liked. You know, just the combos, the morphs were just, you know, some of them were really nice, some of them were trash, some of them were like just stuff guys would probably be throwing away, you know.
AG, how long ago was this? Can you remind me when you went to the pet shop and then you?
This was in August, so
oh shit,
this was August of last year. So September, I started buying, right? And dude, I'm gonna speak. Obviously, I have almost no experience from a breeder standpoint, but I only want to speak from a customer standpoint. So you guys have been doing this forever. This is a guy who came in and was like, all right, I don't care what something costs, sell me something. And dude, so many guys dropped the bag.
Yeah, because I would tell you, there's the people skills, the business side of skills of things lacks big time in this hobby. People don't connect the dots, and this is where people fail a lot. But I want you to tell me more when you mean by they dropped the bag.
One of the details, and the reason I'm sharing this is because as a community, this can make us all better, right? Because there's guys listening to this that they might be brand new like me, and they don't, you know, maybe they don't have the money to start up like I do. But they're the things you could do that set you apart are going to be the details. The details matter. And I'll give you an example.
Sure.
So most of the time, who would we say, like pretty common, I think most people would agree, a guy like Justin has one of the better collections. Is that fair to say? If not the best collection, he has one of the best. Right? The best. Okay, let's just say the best.
Pound for pound, he's the best. Okay.
You can take his collection and give it to the wrong guy, and that guy can fumble the whole company. He can 100%. Ruin everything, right?
1000%.
So the product matters, but it doesn't matter. So having the best snakes in the world, having the best flip-flops in the world, having the best anything in the world, as far as accolades go, that's worth zero. That just only gets you onto the playing field, right? So it's all the other things you do that make you stand out. you know, and it's a lot of times you'll see, I'll see guys do this. Somebody will have a snake and it has the morphs they want. And it may not be the best expression of those morphs, but it checks the boxes. The dude's difficult to deal with, but they buy it anyways because they really want to, you know, and that's a choice that person makes. For me, that's not the buyer I'm going to be, right? It has to be the right expression. It has to look the best quality it possibly can. It has to be exactly what I want. And that person has to be pleasant to deal with, because waiting is not a big deal to wait, right?
You got it.
Anyway, so there's nights I was online just on Morph Market. I'll give you an example. I messaged a guy and I said, hey, that snake's cool. Do you have a picture of his belly? And his actual response was, I'm sorry. I said, can you send me a picture of his belly, the snake's belly? And the guy's response was, it's too cold. That was his response. No reference as to what that meant. Is he going outside to get the picture? Is he going outside to another building? He just simply said, it's too cold. Okay. I spent $30,000 that night with other people. Just buying whatever I wanted. And I probably would have bought everything that guy had.
AG, I promise you that guy is struggling paying the bills right now too, for sure.
100%. But here's another thing too. So when you put a snake online, how are you doing it? What do people want? Do you have a better picture? Is the aperture all messed up? Do you have a picture in the daylight? Do you have a nice photographic white box? Do you have a picture of the belly? What's the pairing? Everybody wants to know the pairing. Put all that information in your initial description. And guess what? You do it once and you never have to do it again, except for your next animal. Yeah. So I go in there, a guy like me goes in there, I answer all my own questions without taking any of your time. You've already invested your time in making that post the best it can possibly be. And I simply click the button, either buy now or I'd like to buy this snake. Do you have anything else cool? And that quick. But instead, you cut the corners and you just put one kind of half-assed photo, right? So then people keep asking you for more photos and more photos and more photos. They're asking you for more photos because your photos aren't cutting it. That's why they're asking for more photos. The initial photos you have aren't cutting it. So that was one example, right? Where I just spent, I spent 30 grand or whatever that night. There was another guy, I messaged him and I wanted to buy like 3 snakes from him. I thought they were cool. And he got back to me the next day and he just simply said, hey, sorry, I don't work on Sundays. Do you still want them?
Damn.
But you know what the problem is? That a lot of these cats fail to see that they're competing with 1,000 breeders right now.
Yeah. Who where it's not too cold. They don't give a fuck if it's Sunday. They're there to answer any of your questions.
The minute I get a message on Morph Market, I'm fucking answering. If I can take that picture, I want to keep that customer with me. Is that something?
Everybody has a weapon in business, and to me, it's one of the most powerful weapons. It's speed. Yeah. Speed is the most valuable weapon because if you take speed is simply time, right? So if you ordered DoorDash and it showed up perfectly the way you ordered it in 20 minutes, you're happy. If it showed up 3 or 4 hours later, exactly the way it's supposed to be, you're upset. And if it shows up 2 weeks later, you're just weirded out that it even showed up that late, right? So same result, different time frame. When people ask a question, they want to buy it right there in that moment. And then you've got to think of business as not what you do in sales. You could be a guy, you do 100 grand in snakes on top of your normal job, and you could be stoked, right?
Yeah.
But you may not realize that you're leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. So it's not what you're doing in sales. You're doing $1 million in sales. That's awesome. Your potential could be 3 million. But what you're doing is you're slow to respond. Your pictures aren't very good. You're holding a snake in your hand in your photo, and I can see your laundry in the background or something like that.
God, I hate that.
We know that's a thing. Like
so
that's
ghetto.
crazy.
That's
crazy.
So ghetto.
That's crazy.
Trust me. I have to rip my own Patreon members apart. It's been a long time since I've done it, but if somebody even shares a picture in our group and I see a sock in the background, I'm like, dude, that's cool. I guess
the whole picture is what you're looking at. And you have this tool right here. You got this tool in your hand. Here's what you do. You get your iPhone, you breathe on it, and you wipe the lens on your shoulder. You get all that grease and everything off your lens. You go out to a window with nice lighting and you take a nice picture. It costs you nothing except 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But what you're going to do is you're going to have a much better result. Your brand is only your photos, your logo, and your packaging, and your communication. That's your brand.
Presentation. Right.
That's it. Like, how does your box show up? Like I had a guy with boxes where this guy shredded shirts. He shredded shirts and stuffed them around the snake. Like now I got to open that up and it looks like dirty laundry again.
Bro,
I don't want that in my house.
He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't feel like doing laundry. I'm just.
That's a real thing, dude. I open up the box and it's shredded shirts inside. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know how inexpensive tissue paper is, or polyfill, or
paper.
Any of that stuff is less expensive. So it's those little details. You start maximizing all those little details. You're like, hey, honey, we made an extra $100,000 this year. Hey, honey, we made an extra $250,000 this year. Hey, we made $3 million this year. It's super doable. Like the amount of money you can make is extremely high, but the money is only the byproduct of running and having good systems. And I'm so happy that I'm coming into the hobby right now where there's shed testing and there's clutch and stuff like that. Dude, I couldn't imagine having a Rolodex and fucking those cards people use and shit. I know a lot of old timers use that. For me, no way. I remember I was talking to Ozzy one time and he was showing me an Excel spreadsheet. And I was like, bro, I'd rather stick a gun in my mouth than read that Excel spreadsheet. I was like, I hate Excel more than anything in the fucking world, bro.
Yeah, but honestly, it's only because where we're at in the times, like that's just people don't look at information like that no more. Like, especially if it's a customer or or somebody like inquiring, it's all digital, it's all on the internet. Everything's on the computer nowadays. Because that's what keeps it faster, it keeps it moving, like you said. That whole speed comment that you had is so true, bro. Because if you're not up and on it, like bro, they're not gonna sit around with their fucking thumb up their ass thinking like, I'll just wait for this guy to reply to my message. No, dude, that money's gone. They went somewhere else already, You're not go ahead.
That and we need to continue to get better every day. I mean, we can't be left in the past.
Yeah, as it continues. I mean, so breeding the snake, the only reason I wanted to breed the snakes is because some of the snakes I wanted to buy just weren't available. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'll make my own snakes then. There's things I wanted or things that I saw was like that combo would look good with that combo. And my boy from Las Vegas Ball Pythons, by the way, the best company, one of the top companies in this whole hobby. You want to talk about a super cool, smart guy that tries to stay low key as far as like he won't go on podcasts and stuff. I'm calling him out right now.
Las Vegas
Ball Pythons.
Yeah, dude, tell me about it, Steve. I'm on your ass,
genius, bro. Hey, he's a literal genius, and you can't get him on a podcast.
He will.
Anything, dude.
No, he's coming on. He already promised me he's coming on Trap Talk. No other reptile podcast will have him before I will. Steve already promised me, bro. I've already seen that guy's potential from like 3-4 years ago, probably longer. But that dude's for reals. Like, no, definitely.
I talk to a lot of smart people. I'm an idiot, bro. I finished 7th grade. I don't know anything. I talk to a lot of smart people all the day through between our attorneys, our CFOs. Talking to Steve, dude, he's a genius, bro. With what he knows of snakes and his customer service and his angles and like his approach and just his pulse on everything, dude, that guy is a weapon, bro. That guy's a weapon. Knowing him and check this out. So using clutch, obviously, I think clutch is on the newer side. Is that fair to say? It's pretty new.
A little bit over a year, about 2 years they've been out.
So right away, started using clutch, just detail, tracking everything. And then it turned out, make sure I'm saying this correctly. Sometimes I forget stories, when other people tell me them. So I'm doing my best to regurgitate this, okay? Yeah. So he had posted some of his clutch online. And then some people who are, crazy good with spotting morphs, IDing, was like, hey, dude, that looks like it might be Het Monsoon. There's some people say Het Monsoon shows has a little bit of like visualization. So he goes and he tests them, right? He tests the mom, comes back Het Monsoon. So this snake is a 50. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. I think he talked about this online. So forgive me, Steve, if I'm sharing something that's that's private. But this snake lays 15 eggs, bro. 15 eggs. I bought 5 of them. He held back 6. So far, I've tested 4. 3 of them are het monsoon.
Nice.
Het monsoon.
Wow.
So they're 3 females. It's a spot nose, clown, het hypo, het DG, het monsoon. It's a quad, so it's a hypo, clown, desert ghost, monsoon, and then there's a spot nose quad het, spot nose, hypo, desert ghost, clown, monsoon. I got 3 of them. It would never happen if we didn't have clutch to track the lineage, and it would never happen if it wasn't for shed testing, dude. Never happen.
I mean,
and there's a couple things with shed testing where like they haven't got it quite right, but I can tell you from a dude who's already bought a couple hundred snakes, it's just under 40 of them have been ID'd wrong.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode with you here, AG, because, I feel like, money doesn't mean success in the ball python game at all. And honestly, like the more, not thought out you are purchasing animals, the quicker you exit out. So I got to ask you, like for you, how would you kind of recommend coming in, spending money into the ball python game without having to put so much risk into getting an animal that isn't the proper morph? Because, mind you, because of shed testing, we're finding out a lot of things, right? But I feel like there's errors on the shed testing side, and there's a lot of errors on the breeder side, mis-IDing things, right? So how have you been delegating that? And like, what has been like the feedback when a breeder does sell you something where it isn't the correct ID, and how did you go about that and all that?
Yeah. So there's 2 things. So I start off with just a big over 100 pet collection, right?
Yeah.
Then I was starting getting some nicer stuff, and I was like, and I say pet because that's to me like the quality of them wasn't pet. There was like hypo puzzle, het DG stuff, you know what I mean? Or like there was nice shit in there. But to me, they were stuff that I kept as pets. Like they weren't, I had no desire to breed them. But then when I really got focused on what exactly I wanted to do, I got rid of stuff that I knew that wasn't gonna be part of my future. And dude, I got rid of some really nice snakes just for cheap. Here, if you could breed these, if you could use them, enjoy them. I got rid of them for really cheap. And then there was snakes I was buying on auction that dudes were selling for so cheap, I would just throw them a little extra cash. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. That's too cheap, bro. Here's $200. Like they're selling snakes for $40. I was like, here's $200, bro. Like, so trying to throw a little love here or there. But as far as like, so what I want to do, and this is a lofty goal, so don't laugh at me for saying this. I want to make a super hurricane hypo DG clown pied. That's what I want, just as my personal collection. And that could take me decades. It could take me, 5 or 6 years. Who knows, Well, but, go ahead.
That said, with what you're making, with what you want to make there, you're going to make a ton of badass animals.
Yeah. In the meantime, on the way.
That go animal.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I bought when I started breeding, I would go and I would test it. And it would, dude, we had one snake that everything in it was wrong. Everything. I think like only Orange Dream was right. There was like 7 morphs that were all wrong. You know what I mean? There was lace stuff I bought that wasn't lace. There was Desert Ghost stuff I bought that wasn't Desert Ghost. There was a lot of stuff like that. And then some of these were from the top breeders, bro, the top guys. So it wasn't like no one was pulling a scam. They just ID them wrong, Then there was like entry-level guys, I guess you'd call it, or small breeders that had stuff that was wrong. And then there was guys that had stuff that was dead accurate, and then there was guys that weren't sure. So they're like, listen, it's this, and this, and it's possibly this and this, but they're not charging you for that. Right. Those are the best guys. Steve does stuff like that. If he's not positive, he's not charging you for it,
That's how it should be. Right.
Through shed testing, I send my tests out. They come back and it's just negative. And I'm like, here's the deal. From a new guy, you think like, well, you just can't trust anybody, right? And it's not that someone's doing something wrong necessarily. They could be, but really it's so complicated as to what you're looking at. If it's 3 morphs, like maybe, but you're talking about a codom or, 3 recessives, it gets crazy, like complicated as to what you're looking at. So I understand it could be really hard. Shed testing is newer. But shed testing has yielded me a lot of, but bad news and good news. But to answer your question, by shed testing and realizing that snake was missing those morphs, that shed test that cost me $100 because I tested it for a bunch of things. How much time did that save me? Years. Years of time. So to me, it's vital. And I won't even buy something from somebody. If it's lace, you better show me a shed test. You know, if it's had something important, you better show me a shed test. You know, or
I would say lace is the hottest morph that's getting people fucking pissed off right now because they're getting taxed for it. They're testing it, no lace. So and here's the thing, like, listen, I don't know why any like you said, big breeders are fucking up the DG, and if this snake is valued at whatever price, which is probably good, those fuckers should be testing for the DG themselves. I don't know why they think that they're above shed testing and they're like, oh, my eyes got this right. And mind you, mistakes happen, but I don't know. I'm assuming these are pretty expensive snakes that you're buying here, AG. And so I don't know why you have to find out that there's no DG in it when you're spending that kind of money. That would kind of aggravate me a little bit.
And if somebody's selling like a 50% or a 66% or a POS, dude, spend the $40. You're going to charge you're going to make way more money if that thing is 100% versus 50%.
Right.
So I won't buy anything that's 50% or 60% at all.
There's a lot of wishful IDing out there.
Yeah.
If you're a breeder and you're hoping and wishing that an animal has the gene and you're trying to push that on to a prospective buyer, you better test it. Because if not, they're going to come back, they're going to test it, and you're going to have to give a partial refund. Or you might have to take the whole snake back. I mean,
or they're going to fucking tell their whatever fucking group chat that they're in and just make you look like an idiot. And that's the thing. Like, this is one thing I hate about this game, AG, and this is why I like how you are, because you're up front. But there's people, they won't address the issue. They'll just go around and tell everybody what happened versus just getting it fixed. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, your image, your brand, like your presentation, like that's everything in this. And all it takes is one bad experience that you didn't take care of to fuck it all up. And I don't know why a lot of people don't want to just take care of shit when they need to take care of it, you know?
Yeah, take all the guessing out of it. There's a few guys that, you know, I posted some stuff on my Instagram and guys shit on the shed results and multiple tests deemed that they were wrong. So what you're telling me is you were so confident with your answer, because they'd be like, hey, listen, bro, it might be this, I don't know. But when you're super confident and then you're wrong, you've told us that we can't trust your confidence anymore.
Yeah, it all goes out the window.
I can't buy anything from you because you're going to guarantee me something. And I already watched you guarantee me, and I've watched you be wrong. Now, we could be wrong and be like, oh, shit, bro, I got that wrong. My apologies. Let's fix it. Let's make it right. You know, There's always the ability to make it right. But with how long some of these snakes can take to figure that out, you know, I mean, what do? You get a female. What do they say? It's 3 years before you breed her.
On average, I would say about an average.
You miss the odds, and then you breed her again, and like you're talking 4 or 5 years before you go back and you have that conversation with that guy about the snake that didn't prove out. That's crazy to me. Shed test that thing, you know, in a few weeks, and that conversation's done. Shed test it before you send it out. Charge me $50. Charge me the extra $100 when I buy the snake. Show me the goddamn certification when I buy it.
Yeah,
there's people out there that still question if they should be shed testing. It costs you at least on the low end $450 to raise a female. Okay, $450, $500,
through feeding and stuff like that.
Depending on how much it costs you to produce rodents, buy rodents, whatsoever, or whatever it is, right? I came up with these numbers this weekend for one of my people. Why wouldn't you shed test?
Yeah,
it's $40.
Yeah.
Let's say a panel, 100 something. Yo, the shed results are 99% accurate. 99%. Okay? That is what else do you need?
Yeah, but that $40 saves so much time, so much headache, so much everything. I don't want
saving you money.
just that customer alone, the idea of like, oh man, I got to message MJ back about this lace that didn't come. Like just the anxiety you're giving the customer, you may have the coolest response and you may fix everything and make it perfect. But my anxiety as a customer having to reach out to you and bring that up, dude, it makes for a bad experience all the way around.
Yeah.
So for me, clutch, shed testing, those are vital elements. You know what I mean? And then the management of the snakes is so much easier. So when we sold off our snakes, we started buying, you know, higher end stuff. I think I'm at like 60 snakes right now. Everything's in clutch. Everything's detailed. I get the parents, the ID number of the snake, who I bought it from. I mean, we track every detail. Is every detail you could provide me goes right into the notes. And later on, if I need to look back, I'm going to be able to tell, hey, bro, I got that snake from you 3 years ago. I just heard it tested for head monsoon. Guess what? I got the lineage to track all that sort of stuff. Or some crazy morph popped up that we didn't know about. Guess what? We have the lineage of it. So there's no reason. Tracking stuff doesn't hurt anything. More details always helps. More details in your posts, more details in your notes. It makes everything better. It doesn't hurt anything. You start cutting corners, you start getting behind. Now with like that stuff, when guys say they're too busy to do that, right? With our company, I get about 2,000 emails a day. I'll get about 700 to 1,800 DMs a day on Instagram, and then thousands of text messages. So when a guy tells me, dude, I'm too busy, I can't answer, get out of here. Get out of here. I can answer all of mine and all of yours simply by just being efficient. Carry none of those into the next day.
Yeah.
When a customer messages you, you have an hour max to get back to them. Max.
I'm gonna piggyback what you just said, because I'm definitely notorious of like, dude, I have like 70 sheds that I haven't turned in, but guess what? It's because it's not a priority to me. Like I do know if I have anything that needs to be tested that I'm selling, I can't sell it until I test it, because why the fuck would I want to let something go that is 100% double head DG hypo or whatever the fuck, right? Yeah. But then also too, like, there might be a time where I get so behind that I have no choice but to sell that snake, that like, not knowing, and that adds up, dude. You keep doing that and doing that and doing that. Think about all the opportunities, all the money you're leaving on the table. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mind you, I don't just do ball pythons. If I did, I'd be shed testing like a motherfucker. But it's when somebody says, and I love that you said that, AG, because it likes to find her my ass. There's no excuse. Like you could say you're too busy for anything, but if you really want to fucking do it, if it's that important, you're gonna find a way to do it, no matter what.
You know how you make things impossible is when you take your work and you carry it into tomorrow. Yeah, because then you got all of tomorrow's work plus yesterday's work, and then like you suddenly gonna get way more efficient and get all that done. You got to knock everything off your plate every day. Carry nothing into the next day. Nothing. Yeah, you know. Just those couple little things make a huge impact as far as any business. Fast communication, good, clear messaging. We even stamp our snake bags. You know, I went and bought a stamp, a nice big one. I think the company's called Big Ass Stamp. You just put your stamp right there on the bag. The boxes look nice. I'm even getting rid of the boxes that we buy from like Morph Market. I'm going to take the internals out, get a different cardboard that's just plain, put the internals in, stamp it, and then put my own logos on it. So it looks the way I want to. I want it to look like an old school, like 1930s, like shipping crate when you get it. Cool. You know
why do I feel like AG is going to come out with the world's most expensive snake bags?
Yeah, let's do it.
Murder hippo snake bags. Like, this shit is fucking the real deal, right?
If you're buying like a $40,000 snake, how do you want that snake to come? You know, if you're buying a $10,000 snake, or if you're buying a $2,000 snake, like, that whole packaging is part of the experience.
Yeah,
dude, that's the first thing they touch is the box, you know. And if all the boxes look the same, there's no experience with that, you know. Like, you want to be able to go pick up 4 or 5 snakes from FedEx and be like, I know whose box that is. It just looks different.
I will give credit to Garrett Hartle, man. So Garrett Hartle, he's a Retic guy. It's called Reach Out Reptiles. But first time I ever went to his facility, he showed me his shipping area. Like, it's a whole on room just for shipping. And he had all these boxes. They look like Nike boxes. And I'm like, what are those? He's like, those are my shipping boxes. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Let me look at it. And they were like his own custom shipping boxes. And they opened up like a Nike shoe, like a nice pair of shoes. Like, I was like, dude, what are you spending per box? He's like, oh, that doesn't matter. He's like, it's expensive, but like, think about it. They're buying a $3,000 snake from me. I want them to never, ever forget them getting this snake. And like, it was all about the packaging to this guy. And that always kind of stuck with me. I still don't do anything nowhere near that, but I feel like I should, man. Like, I don't know, man, like doing what we do, like it really kind of shows like the effort you're putting in just by that little small details that you're talking about, AG.
Makes a big difference. If you want me to trust your IDing, I need to be able to trust that you have details all the way around. And if your packaging is no good or it's minimum, your descriptions are minimum, your photos are minimum, like everything you're doing, you're showing me you're a minimum guy. I can't trust that your eyes are excellent. You know what I mean? And that's with any product. Like if you go to a restaurant and the floor is dirty, I doubt the food's going to be very good in the back. You know what I mean? So treat your business like a restaurant. If you're blatantly telling me that there's dirty dishes, there's dirty stuff, if your bedding looks horrible, sometimes bedding is horrible. Have at least the knowledge to not take a photo of that. You know what I mean? If your animals, if you have a handful of COCO in your tubs, like at least move your snake over to one full of COCO before you take a picture, because you're telling everybody that that's how you keep your animals. You're telling everybody that's your level of detail. You're telling everybody that's your level of cleanliness. You have the control to just change that image. You know, whether you really have that or not, simply pick that snake up and take a picture of it somewhere else, and it's not looking so low quality. All that stuff matters. Every picture matters. Every message matters. Every detail matters. You do that, suddenly your business has just gone up quite a bit.
Yeah. But then again, that comes within, right, AG? Like you can't teach people not to be lazy in a sense. Like they got to want to fucking do the extra steps on their own, you know? And
then you got to not buy snakes from guys like that. That's how you control that.
Dude, my God. Isn't it true how crazy it is? Like your voting power relies on the money you spend on people. Like you're voting and like vouching for that breeder by giving them money, I feel like.
Yeah. Do you guys cuss on this podcast?
Yeah, fuck yeah, all the time.
Okay. So I tell my boys in the bar, like if he tries fucking a fat chick, I'm like, hey, you can't fucking do that, bro. Because you're telling them it's okay to be like that. Like, you know what I mean? You got to stop and be like, no, I don't give a fuck, bro. We'll go somewhere else. But if you go bang a fat chick, you're telling them it's okay to be like that. And like, they're only going to keep doing that, right? If you buy something from someone who owns a bad restaurant, guess what? You're telling them it's okay. Don't support people that aren't willing to take that extra step. You know what I mean? And there's guys at all levels. There's guys at the top. There's guys that are just brand new like me. There's guys with tiny collections, guys with expensive collections. You can do.
Hey, hold up, AJ, bro. Hey, hold up. Hey, there's cats that like thick, bro.
I know.
Thick and fat's different, bro. Thick. We all like thick, bro.
Hey.
We're talking about a mess.
No. But it could be the same for a real skinny meth head looking girl too. Like it's I guess any bad looking wrecking girl, you're gonna look out for your boy. And be like, don't do that.
Like, you're only gonna encourage her to be more like that. Don't do
that. This shit just got funny.
You know what I mean? So same thing with any business. You vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to support the guys that are out there and doing like the best work. Support them. It could be anybody. Yeah. It could be a guy with 5 snakes, you know?
Well, yeah, man. You have to be someone that you want to support. Like, I want to support this guy. I want to buy a snake from him. That's what you're saying, man. And 100%, you know?
Yeah, there's some really, really great guys in this industry. Some really cool guys. A few guys I've seen that are kind of weird. But reptile people, I think overall are some of them are kind of weird. But
it's come a long ways, dude. Like for like the last 10 years, it's changed a lot. Like
I've heard some. I'm new. I've heard some horror stories, and I just got here, bro.
Oh I've heard some. There's some like Netflix documentary stories out there, bro.
Like Tiger
yeah. When we hang out, when we hang out in person, I'll catch you up on some crazy shit. Don't worry about it, bro. I'm fucking wild. But
real quick, tell me about those snakes in the background. Those are those green tree pythons. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So I have a whole wall. There's 16 cages behind me, and I got 12 green tree pythons and 4 adult emerald tree boas, all on this wall. And then I got some breeder males in front of me. And so, yeah, man, I want to get you in that game.
Those are nice cages.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a bright focus cube. But I got to ask you, man, and honestly, don't feel like you need an answer specific. I want a real fucking answer from you, AG, and I know I'll get it. And this isn't no offense to anyone out there, but I want to know what you've been preferring lately when it comes to testing. Do you like using RGI, or do you like using shed testing with Charlie? Or those are the only two, right? But I'm curious, like when you get a shed test in and you see the results and you're looking at this snake and you're like, what the fuck? How can that snake not have this? Do you go through both companies, or are you just using one?
I like both, and I'll tell you why.
Sure.
Charlie as a person is super great. Such a nice guy.
Cool. Yeah, nice guy.
He has tests that RGI doesn't have, and like the monsoon test and like some of the other stuff. I don't know all the details, but like I was getting lace tests from him early on, things like that. From my OCD side with clutch, bro, if I don't have a star next to it that it's proven in clutch, it drives me crazy. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah. It's like certified. It's like, yeah.
I was messaging, who the fuck was I messaging? Whoever like the clutch,
Sebastian.
Sebastian. So the tech support. So one thing, whoever the fuck designed the backwards date on clutch, shame on them. That's fucking crazy, bro. Why is the year first and then the fucking month or whatever? And then that's weird.
Want to know why? I could tell you right now why that is.
Why do they do it?
Because it's Europe. It's because Sebastian's from South Africa. That's how they write their date. That's how they write their dates in Europe. They write it. It throws me off too, because I remember back in the anyway. I don't want to tell you, but I just knew from people that I used to DJ with in Europe, they would always put the date first, the year first. They would put the year, the month, and then the day of the month or something like that. It threw me off big time.
That's what we figured it was. I've messaged them countless times to fix it. They said they're going to. So that's a must. That is absolutely obnoxiously annoying, dude. The backwards date. Like, why don't we use fucking stone or like some other measurement, you know? Like, why are we using grams, but the date's fucking backwards? Like the concept blows my fucking mind. And then if I shed test with Charlie and I get the certificate, I want to be able to go to clutch and check that that's certified. That's a certified morph with the check mark on the morph. Like that to me, I have to. My OCD drives me crazy. I don't like them not being there. And I don't like doing a full panel on Morph Market and not being able to get those results into clutch. You know what I mean? So I do a what do they call a 45 panel through Morph Market, and then it comes back with what the morphs are, but that doesn't relate over into clutch. You have to message them and see if they'll manually do that for you. I
think that's getting fixed. I think Clutch and Morph Market are working on on that. Last time I checked.
Those little things. So you're asking about Charlie and shed test or shed testing and RGI. So from the RGI standpoint, I love that I could just have my stuff OCD meticulously all checked off, everything the way I want to. I like how easy it is to order. I like how they email me and say that they received it. I like how they email me instantaneously and show me the results. I have them all electronic. Like that aspect I love a lot. I talked to Ben over there quite a bit at RGI. Super smart guy. Yeah. I think the industry needs both of them. You know what I mean? Like the demand's going to be so high that there's two of them won't be able to handle it. There might be a third or a fourth or even a fifth one day to be able to handle all the shed testing that needs to go on. As we set it to be the standard for every snake, imagine every snake needing to be shed tested. There's going to be a lot of sheds that need to go out there.
Those two guys are doing a lot of stuff together. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you see a lot more partnership, a bigger partnership between them.
Yeah, I think together they're setting the gold standard on how it should work. And by the way, what the fuck is with people crying about the fucking Morph Market shipping, bro? That's the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I love to hear it. I mean, but mind you, man, people crying aren't relevant people that we have in this hobby. It's people who they're checking out in a sense. Like if you look at it,
let me tell you why Morph Market shipping is so important. Okay?
Yeah, let's hear it, AG.
It's similar to the system we use to check out. If you're requiring me, if you send me your address and I have to manually type it in, you're risking a chance for it to be messed up.
Yes.
I don't want to do that. I don't care. I would pay twice as much if Morph Market charged twice as much just for that quick link to pop up and me just do a one-click checkout. I'd pay twice as much. The fact that they're charging less is awesome. But guess how many mistakes you're going to get? 0. I'm never going to mistype. I'm never going to read something wrong. I'm never going to get distracted filling out your label. You sent your label. I click one button. It's done. It's perfect. There's 0 chance for an error. That to me is priceless. Because one, you ship one wrong snake, it's a fucking nightmare, right? Not only do you lose all that money, you got to give it back, but most importantly, that animal could die. Who knows what animal is going to wind up? You know, and that's ultimately the most important thing is the animal's health, well-being. That's ultimately the most important thing, right? So that snake's lost back and forth. Nobody knows where it is. It goes to this hub, then needs to come back to this hub. It's a mess. So just that element alone of having 0 risk for errors makes it invaluable.
I mean, for me, it was just a goddamn like the easiness. Like, holy crap! I just sold a snake. Now there's a label right here. Like I clicked twice. Like that was it. And mind you, like think about you having to get think about the person who has like 30 snakes going out that week. You know what I mean? Like 30 labels where you having to manually input an address. You're right. The chances of you fucking up that address is pretty big if you're not paying attention.
And how much extra time does it cost to manually
redo everything? Dude, oh my God. I've sent the snake to the wrong place before. It sucked.
Yeah, I would charge twice as much. It's $45. I pay $100. I pay $150 per. I don't care. It's worth it to me.
Yeah.
If there's one thing Morph Market can fix, you guys know the owner of Morph Market, right?
Yeah, my buddy.
Call that guy up and tell him to get rid of that goddamn white fucking screen, all that white real estate in the middle of the night. And I'm trying to order snakes at 2 a.m. and the whole screen is bright white blinding me. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about because it's this white website?
White. Yeah, it's like you go to Reddit, you go to the other side, you can make it into dark mode. Like that, the whole screen's bright white blinding. I'm doing morph calculations in the middle of the night, you know, like contemplating shit that I might hit one day. And dude, I'm just blinded by how white that screen is. Because it's literally
dark mode on Morph Market would be sick.
We could just have a dark mode option. That, bro, Darian's gonna do that.
That's it.
We'll do it.
Do it. It's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Anything else you think I should talk to Darian about other than the dark mode?
That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. For me,
that's not that bad of a complaint, actually.
It's driving me crazy. Every night I'm on there at midnight running calculations or like seeing what Justin's putting on there. I was like, come on, put a quad up. And like, you know, and I'm just blinded by that white screen, dude. It drives me crazy. Just turn
the brightness down a little bit.
If I ever get out of this, bro, it'll be because of the clutch date and the fucking white screen on Morph Market. Those things drive me crazy. Crazy.
I gotta ask you. So as of right now, AG, like, are you still out there on Morph Market seeing what else that you could get on your hands on? Like, where are you at as far as like still building everything as far as your collection goes?
So I'll look on Morph Market. Obviously, I'm always peeking around, see if there's something cool. But a lot of guys, I'll just message them directly, like Precision Pythons, like Jack, I'm messaging him directly, Steve all the time, Justin, Miguel, you know, a few other guys. Like, I want to know before you tell anybody what type of shit you have. You know what I mean? Like, once it hits the market, you know what I mean? I know guys have already kind of picked through it a little bit. I want to get first dibs on some of that stuff. You know what I mean? So right now the goal is to get a quad male, Hypo DG Clown Pied male. That's my next goal.
Hypo DG Clown Pied?
Yeah.
Visual? Like, or you want a visual?
Yeah.
I think Justin should have those about to shed now.
We're talking.
Or hatching. Trust.
Yeah. He's hit a few in clutch. I'm watching every night on clutch.
Yeah.
He has at least an Orange Dream quad and an Enchi quad. I'm sure he has more, but those are two that
I saw those. They're badass.
It's funny how people will bitch about ball python game being dead. If that was the case, we wouldn't have people like this. Just so you guys know.
It's
all right,
never gonna.
This motherfucker's obsessed.
Hey, it's been dead for 25 years, homie.
Yeah, motherfuckers, bro.
It's dead.
Oh my God, yeah, bro. You got to see some of the bigger names that are checking out right now that are just I mean, just all because they can't sell. You know what I'm saying? Because they suck at selling, they're
Yeah.
now checking out of ball pythons and selling something else.
This is the best time to be in ball pythons. People were
Yeah, I
talking
agree.
about COVID. I was like, dude, that's the worst time. You can make quick money, but you're not getting your skill set. Now is when you get your skill set. Because it's easy. Any idiot can push a snake when everybody wants to buy them. Now, if nobody wants to buy them, that's the time where you get sharp. That's the time where you batten down your hatches, you learn all your skills, you sharpen up all your details. And then if a next huge wave comes, but we have so much free time. Like most of the time I'm looking for shit to do with snakes. I'm just staring at them, picking them up. By the way, I hold all of my snakes at least once a week.
That's cool.
Every single one of them. I get snakes from like my boy Miguel brought over some snakes. I'm like, bro, these things feral. I don't think these things have ever seen a human before. They're so freaking, they're so hissy and trying to bite me and shit. I was like, dude, those things.
Yeah,
like,
all Miguel snakes are mean for some reason.
Miguel brought me a wild snake. I'm like, this thing is so fucking mean.
When are you looking to start breeding?
I got a couple, we call them bastard clutches because there were a couple like pet crate stuff I kept around. So I got some clutches in right now. I wanted to go through the process
Of course.
Tracking the measuring the follicles, tracking the ovulation, doing the shed, the shed, getting the eggs, separating her from them, the vermiculite, the whole thing. So we've gotten 3 clutches already. One of them I think is down to 35 days, 40 days, something like that. I think 35 days till they hatch. Cut them. I got some friends I'm going to give them to. And then next time we breed will be nicer stuff, a little nicer stuff. But that quad male is the next thing I need to pick up.
And you're going to put that male to what? Like if you had that male, what would you want to put it to?
So I got the, to me, I joke around that it's the second ugliest snake I've seen. So it's a pastel quad. So pastel hypo-DG clown pied. I got a female. She's super ugly. Pastel to me makes her ugly, but she's pretty ugly. You know what I mean? She's like a princess, but an ugly princess, Yeah,
but visually pastel with all those recessives might actually look pretty fucking sick. You never know.
No, she's ugly, bro. She's ugly.
No, I'm saying the babies might not be ugly is what I'm saying.
Oh, the babies, yeah. So
would you say she is a pastel what?
A pastel hypo-DG clown pied.
She's ugly?
Yeah, really ugly. And then the only ugly, when I'm saying ugly, like from my standpoint, like in a funny way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay,
so Justin has one on Morph Market right now that's super ugly. Like it looks like somebody ran out of like printer tone in the snake. Like, it just like
that's what pastels do. Yeah, they
go
don't
to
age
Morph
well.
Market and look up Justin's pastel hypo-DG clown pied female. Powerhouse, ugly as shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's no contrast, there's no nothing,
Yeah, but it's all building blocks, right? It's kind of like
I say ugly sarcastically,
Okay, well I say ugly not sarcastically when I talk about Sunset. What do you think about Sunset?
I think that they look cool for a couple weeks when they're babies. Yeah. But let me say this.
I'm sorry.
I like a lot of high contrast. Like I like big contrast. I want the snake, I want the head stamp to match the body. Like that's super important. So like with some of the pastel, like it'll have a crazy body and just the head will like have a bald spot like between the eye stripes. For me, visually, it's not appealing. I want from the snout to the tail, I want that whole pattern to match. You know what I mean? That's why I like some of the other species I see like you got in the background is the whole snake from tail to snout matches. So some of like the clown hurricane, spot nose clown hurricane stuff, like some of that stuff I got, it looks super sick because it's solid. That body pattern travels up to the head. For me personally, what I like, that's what I like, So I want to get the ultimate goal, I said, was to do the super hurricane hypo-DG clown pied, and the pied may work, it may not work, who knows, but along the way, like that's my ultimate goal. And it sounded like when I first told people about it, it sounded crazy, but now that I got like the pastel quad and I got some super hurricane, head hypo, head clown stuff, now it's a little bit more, not easy, but some of the ingredients are on the table.
Yeah, but I mean, on your way of hitting any quad, like like Big E said, you're gonna be hitting some other really cool shit. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And that's why it's good to have the mindset you have, AG. Like, you're not in a rush. Like, you're making shit for yourself, and you want to probably hold all this shit back. You know what I mean?
I'm holding everything back that's gonna move us forward. There's nothing that I need to sell.
Yeah,
you know, I'm in a very fortunate position to be like that. Is I can hold, if I want, I can hold it all back and just keep compounding it and compounding and compounding it. But with this Het Monsoon stuff popping up in the collection, it changes everything, you know, because some of those snakes now, you know, they're going to change. I mean, what the hell's a five, a quintet, a quint, you know?
Yeah.
A quintuplet? Like what's a 5 recessive snake?
Has it been made yet? Has anyone made a 5-banger recessive yet?
I don't think
I think so.
I don't think with any of like the big recessives. I know there's a couple of recessives that are like,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even count that, bro. Like,
right. Yeah, but like I said, I'm brand new, so I'm just kind of saying what I want. What I could dreaming could be so crazy and so difficult. I know it's going to take years, and I want to go back and watch this podcast years from now and be like, oh, bro, I can't believe that's the way I was thinking back then. With like,
but that's what makes this so beautiful, bro. Like, you're gonna see yourself with a whole different mindset 5 years from now. You know, but that's only because you're teaching yourself. Like, there's so, like, it doesn't matter who you have in your phone book. It doesn't matter who you're next door to. A lot of this shit you learn with experience of just being in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the fact that you're this fucking crazy about it, bro, like that's how Miguel was, and that's how I was when we first got in. Like we were
my friends are like, dude, shut the fuck up and stop talking about snakes. We were at a Garth Brooks concert the other day. I was telling my boy about fucking like the Het Monsoons I hit, and he's like, "What are you talking about? What language are you speaking?"
You're like, he's like, "Dude, the weather looks great out here." What do you mean?
Anyone who wants to talk about snakes, bro, I'll talk about them forever, dude, for hours and hours. But so I sit back and I think of things in my mind, like what will it look like? Like I'll think about like, what is a VPI Exantic like? Clown super hurricane spot nose, you know, or just the super hurricane with the open heart, you know, with like the hearts open on top, the alien heads open, the double bicep, like that with an Exantic, you know, maybe a couple other morphs. Like how cool would that look? Like that would be crazy, right? Possibly. Or has anyone done anything crazy like Monsoon, like Exantic Monsoon, Desert Ghost, like any of those combos?
That one,
huh?
Not yet, but it's coming. This summer, someone's going to hit that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like you would think, in theory, that seems like it'd be really cool. So there's so much cool shit that you can hit. You know?
Oh, man, this game's unstoppable, man. There's so much to do and so many new things coming. It's amazing.
Yeah. And it's really exciting, like you said. This is definitely one of the best times to be a part of the ball python game, especially if you see things the way we do, not how people checking out see them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's cool to see places like Japan. I keep seeing more stuff from Japan. I lived in Japan for a year. Bro, those guys over there, when they get into something, they get in. Dude, they don't fuck around. They'll pass everybody by. You know what I mean? Like in no time. Because their level of detail for the job that they do, it's nuts.
Have you seen videos or footages of their shows? How it's like all pristine and like all tables are white, like they're all whites and like see-through fucking dude. It's nuts the way they are just so. Like, the aesthetics are no joke over in Japan.
They might be the most disciplined people on earth.
They are.
You cannot find a piece of garbage on the floor in Japan.
Yeah. They have koi fish in their gutters.
Yeah, it's wild.
I just tell people, dude, they have koi fish swimming in their gutters. Can you believe that?
I've seen them before. I'll tell people ball pythons because people are like, wait, that snake costs $25,000. Like it blows people's mind, you know? And I'm like, dude, koi can cost $50. It could cost, you know, $50,000, you know, or more than that. So ball pythons are just like a land koi that you keep in a tub. They're just as beautiful, just as cool.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you said some of the older guys are getting out because you would think like once you build a nice collection and you're building good stuff, there's no reason to ever stop doing this. Like you're always going to make.
Oh my God.
Always
I'm
gonna
so
make
glad you said that.
the best time to get out is when you first start. That's the best time. Like you just started, get the fuck out. That's the best time. It doesn't cost you anything. But once you have a full collection, those snakes, if you're just looking at it from the money aspect, they're making you money every single year. And if you want to get out, stay in, hold back the things you don't want to sell, make cooler and cooler shit, sell the stuff that you know, it's not going to be part of your future. You're still making a nice living. You're still making nice snakes. And the upkeep on these things, dude, as far as businesses go, it's so easy to manage snakes. To me, it's the easiest thing ever.
Ball pythons.
Ball pythons, yeah.
Stuff in racks, you know what I mean? But not even everything in racks are easy to keep. There's colubrids out there that are messy as shit. Like ball pythons are the ideal fucking perfect. Like, oh, you got a lot going on in your life, but you want reptiles? Ball pythons are perfect.
Yeah, you know what I seen the other day? I seen a couple of videos of, and I started like looking into them. I just deleted it because I can't risk doing it. I seen a couple of hog noses that looked fucking cool. And I was like,
I can't relate. Milo could relate to you on the hog noses. I can't.
Hog noses are really cool, bro.
They are popular.
From a pet standpoint, like the way they were moving in their hands, they just looked really cool. I do have one Burmese python. I do have one. Everything else is ball pythons.
Yeah,
that's our show snake for the models and stuff like that.
And then where'd that berm come from?
Some sanctuary, bro. It came to us. Luckily, this was in the early days. It came to us with scale rots, mites, under fucking. It was under fucking, like it was way underweight. It was sick. Luckily, like I didn't have a collection then, so we were able to cure it, get it fixed, get it eating. Now it looks good. It's healthy. Its scales are perfect. I mean, we had that mite thing under control in like 4 or 5 weeks. We had it isolated, you know what I mean? But like, it was good to learn how to deal with mites when I didn't have a collection versus I've heard horror stories on guys getting mites and like, dude, I'm so anal with that stuff. I won't even go to a pet store for risk of like bringing something home, or you're packaging with all the shredded t-shirts. That stuff's getting opened up outside, you know what I mean? And in quarantine, I'm so OCD and anal about that stuff. I'd be so scared of passing something on in my collection.
Yeah, and then you also got to be careful who you bring into your collection too. Like once you start meeting snake homies and stuff like that, like oh my god, like those are the guys you got to be worried about. But of course, if it's Miguel or somebody you know, then you don't have to worry about it. But a lot of the times, it's the motherfuckers you bring into your room, you know.
Yeah, nobody really. I mean, a lot of people come to my house because this is where we do at the ToeHold shop, but there's not really a lot of reptile guys that come by. Speaking of, why isn't there a gigantic reptile show in Las Vegas? Why is it in fucking Chicago?
They did one. So Reptile Super Show did a Vegas show, and it was okay. I don't know why Vegas. I just don't think people go to Vegas to look at reptiles. I think it depends where it's at in Vegas. Maybe that's why, because it was in the heart of like all the casinos and shit. Like it was like where people are there to go fucking rage. And I don't know. I think Rami did it once and then he didn't go back. And from what I heard, people struggle with Vegas shows. Yeah,
we need to bring it back. Well, there's one here. It was, it was cool to go to, but like you didn't see anything really, really exciting. But Vegas should be the spot.
You should throw a show. That would be sick. You get with Miguel or somebody big.
You know what we do? It'd be no snakes, all advertising and hot chicks. That's what it'd be.
Bill Stiegel would be there.
0 snakes.
It's just Chicago is just a perfect spot, bro. There's so many states around, that could just drive to it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go this year. My business partner has like a bunch of bars out in the Chicago area. So they've been telling me the October or November show? What is it? October?
March and October.
October. They said the October show is the one to go to. Is that correct?
That's the best one. Yeah, I'll be there in October for sure.
Yeah, I'll cruise by it and walk around. But with those guys you were talking about that are getting out, like, dude, you can do no shows and be super successful. You could do every show and be super successful. Like, you could do it both ways. So, like, why would you ever need to get out? You could stay at home, just do your marketing, do all your online branding.
Because they really don't love the snakes. That's why.
They're fucking lazy too, bro. People are fucking lazy.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, like AG, like, we all know growing up, there's certain things, if we want it that bad, we'll find a fucking way. Like if something is that important to you, you will find a way to keep that a part of your life. That's why me and Emilio look at each other like, why the fuck? Like, damn, this fool's been breeding for 20 years. And just because of COVID, like, he's checking out. And the way these people check out complaining, it looks bad. Like, it's like, dude, like, if you're going to leave, I get it, leave, but don't leave bitching and complaining and fucking blaming the market and blaming tire kickers on Morph Market and all sorts of other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's good customers. I think I'm a good customer. Like, I just tell you I want it. I pay it right away and send me the snake. That's it. Super easy.
Yeah. Seems like it.
You got to do things to attract the good customers. And to me, it's weird. If you have 100 snakes and they're only like a couple $100 each or whatever you sell them for, you take the same amount of effort and time and cost as you do if you have really expensive snakes. You know what I mean? If you had, hypothetically, if you had all bins with $100,000 snake in each one and a snake that's worth $1 in each one, the cost, the time, everything is exactly the same. Am I wrong?
Everything's the same. Everything, it doesn't matter.
So have smaller collection, have a better collection, really like maybe do some, just bring in the best stuff, the sharpest examples. You know, you'll see the guys like that guy Tafati, I guess he just does all those super sick mandarins.
Yeah, TJ.
You know, I don't know anything about him. I just see his stuff on Instagram, but you could just know he just makes really cool looking snakes that look like that. Hans makes hurricane stuff. You know what I mean? There's guys that really specialize in certain areas and they can make a nice living doing that. And maybe you don't have a huge collection. Maybe you just specialize in monsoon, or maybe just specialize in, you know, Exantic, and you're just the guy. You just make the best versions of that, and that's how you stand out. But there's space for everybody in this, dude. And
but you're right. You're right, AG. Like, you got to find that fucking thing you want to be known for, and you have to make it happen. And that does not happen overnight. That takes years. TJ has been known in the Mandarin as the Mandarin dude for like 5 years now. You know, and he came in new, just like you, like fucking. He's a entrepreneur. He owns multiple restaurants, real fucking busy guy, is more behind the scenes, but look how he advertises everything. Look how he markets everything. And he's never missed a step since he's been fucking putting Mandarin on the map, dude. Everyone knows TJ's the Mandarin dude, man. Like, no one fucks with this Mandarin stuff.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about him just from his Instagram stuff, but every picture he puts out is nice quality picture. Yeah. It's cropped perfectly. The lighting looks good. That doesn't take that much longer to do that. Just spend a little bit more time, and then your brand, his snakes are probably in exactly the same racks that the rest of us have. His bedding is the same. Everyone's stuff is the same. You can have lower quality, but let's just imagine, like, you're not getting better COCO. You're not getting better plastic bins. You're not getting better cups.
No,
all the same stuff, right? Temperatures,
same water, same everything.
So it's how well you market it and how well you, is line breeding the right term, or is that the wrong term?
Yeah, no. People have a line of certain morphs that they've worked for over years, and it looks nice because the way they bred it, like you said.
Yeah, so just coming in brand new, fresh, looking at this, I noticed those guys just because they stand out, and the things they're doing are just a little bit above other guys, and it stands out so much. Yeah. You know, Justin's Patreon. Have you seen his Patreon, like the Canova University?
I know about the Canova University. I'm not a part of his Patreon though. No.
From a guy that comes from like a marketing background and branding, this should be something every new guy should watch. From beginning to end, his Canova University goes through every single, from everything we talked about today. You know, like the market, the branding, the like how to price your snakes, you know, just every detail. It's like a PhD in all the years he's been doing it. It's so vital. It's such a one-stop shop to get everything. I think it's crucial that new guys, or guys who've been doing it for a long time too, but new guys especially should check that out.
No, 100%. Now I got to ask you right now, AG, like numbers production wise, like where do you see yourself producing? How many clutches do you want to produce in a year? Like once you get to that point, like how big are we talking here?
So I think I could hold, in the room I have, I think I could hold 160 animals in the space I have right now. Not counting babies, you know, not counting babies. But I'm really focused more on quality. Quality is everything to me. Like I got specific snakes I want to hit, And then if I miss those snakes, I'll sell off, the misses, things like that. But I really just want to go for that super hurricane that we talked about. And along the ways, we'll be hitting other stuff, but it's really like that whole Hypo-DG Clown Pied, now with Monsoon, Super Hurricane, like those are the areas I want to be working. So just really getting that stuff dialed in and getting the best examples and getting rid of everything that doesn't look like it's the best to me.
You have it. Go ahead.
So like the overall numbers, I don't think matters. It's mostly the goal of like targeting that specific animal. The rest of the stuff is the byproduct of all that. You know what I mean? I'll obviously sell stuff to make room. And there's some snakes I bought. Like I bought a bunch of proven breeders just to get more reps in with checking follicles and, being able to cut open eggs and ID them, because if I kept it to a really small collection of like really high-end animals, I wouldn't be getting the reps in that I need to get good at. I want to be a good all-around breeder. So I want to be able to look at a snake and be like, oh, that's these morphs that may not work, but just to be able to ID them and get a better understanding for how they work and all the weird stuff.
You only get good at IDing depending what you produce. I'll tell you that much. So like if you're producing a bunch of like whatever shit, well then yeah, it's good to know that stuff. But like my biggest struggle today is seeing yellow belly and things and seeing fucking like Orange Dream, which thank God for testing. But I think like no matter how good you think you are at IDing, once you get to that level of producing high-end shit, you're gonna test it anyways. You don't have a choice. You gotta test it because like you said, you don't want to be that person who's so comfortable saying, okay, I know it has that because I see this and that. Well, then guess what? What happens when you start being wrong? And then that wrong becomes a pattern. And then next thing you know, you got a bunch of fucking people that are like, dude, this isn't what it was, So for me, it's not to ID them, to sell them, it's to ID them to get a visual understanding for what they look like and then confirm that with shed testing. You know what I mean? Like I look at them, I say, this is what I think I see. And then I read the report and I was like, oh shit, I was way off. All of our stuff is always going to be shed tested. Even dude, I'll shed test pieds that are visual pieds just so I get that check mark on there next to the clutch mark. That's how OCD I am. What do you mean? Okay. Say that one more time. So okay.
I have a visual pied.
Okay.
I got a hypo clown pied.
To another pied.
No, I'm just a snake. I'm just testing it, right? Mm-hmm. So I will clearly you could tell it's clown. Clearly you could tell it's pied, right? I'm going to test it for clown and pied either way, just because I want all three of those morphs to have the check mark next to them.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
that's how OCD I am. So clearly it's a pied. I'm testing it anyway.
You don't give a fuck. You want the star.
I want the star. I want $40. I'll buy the star.
I mean, he's not. I mean, that's actually smart because we all know that clutch is something that a lot of people could go look at your stuff from other clutch accounts, and when you see all those stars, I'm sure it's like, oh wow, like you know what I mean, like from an OCD standpoint, that's something you want to strive for.
Only OCD. Clearly, anybody in the world would know it's a visual pied, but my OCD got to do it.
Yeah, there you go. And I will say this is why I love clutch so much because it allows people like yourself to be cutting edge, more on top of your shit, and more like, if you want to look as sharp as possible, clutch allows you to do that. You know what I mean? And that's what you need nowadays, AG. You got to separate yourself from all the lazy bones and people who are fucking just not wanting to go outside to give you a picture of the belly,
I think it's too cold. It's too cold to go outside.
That's wild. What do you mean? Like it's too cold in your snake room? Or like, do you have I don't get it.
We pondered, me and my girl were pondering it too. We're like, what does it mean? Is it like too cold to go outside with the snake? Do you got to go across your yard to the snake room? Like he didn't give any context. It was just, it's too cold.
Hey, that inquiry thread got even colder.
Right.
All right. So AG, we talked a little bit about you hitting up Tinley in October. Mm-hmm. Are you looking to hit up other shows as well at some point? Like you want to make the rounds or what?
No, probably just that one. I don't like to travel. It's hard for me to travel. It has to be, if I go to a place, it has to be something big. Like I got to either a business meeting, like Tinley would work. I'd maybe set up a podcast out there. So I'd have to have at least 3 reasons to travel to get me to leave Vegas and go out there. Just for one.
But you got to hit Pomona, man, in January.
Pomona? Is there an event out there?
Yeah,
I
so
mean, it's
Pomona's
Cali,
in
bro.
June
It's
and
right there.
January. Yeah, it's a Reptile Super Chest, the
Yeah,
biggest
man.
show on the West Coast, probably the biggest show in the country. Yeah.
Yeah. Pomona's easy. I go to LA a lot. I got a lot of
Yeah,
business
man,
to
you
do
can make
in
it
LA,
out there.
so I'll come through. Do you guys work the show? Or you guys just walk around?
Yeah,
We'll be
well, January we vend. So he flies all the way from Miami, brings his animals, and vends at I have a couple tables, and he comes and vends at my table. So we do that all January. I don't vend in June because I have Trap Fest in June, that weekend. And so, but yeah, we vend January. We're there.
Tell me about the vending side, because it's something that I wouldn't do. It's not something I have time to do. But tell me from you guys' aspect, like, how is it? How you building relationships with it?
I'll let Emilio take this one because that's his profession. He fucking vends and sells a lot of snakes vending. Go on.
Well, I mean, you're building your customer base in person. There's nothing better.
How do you?
How
many days beforehand are you prepping for a show? Like, do you start pulling your stock, or like you start determining what you're going to bring out?
I mean, it depends, right? If it's cross country, you're preparing probably 3 days out. If it's in city, it's Friday. 1 day out. If it's across the state, maybe maybe 2 days out. Man, after a while, it's really easy, bro.
How you transport all your animals and your setup with you, right? Your table, your banners.
The cross country stuff, that stuff has to fly. Right?
Okay. Like
Delta
more than 2 days in
Delta Cargo or Southwest. When it's in state, I drive. Everything is with me.
So if it's a 1 day drive, you'll take your animals with you?
Yeah.
And if it's a multi-day, you'll fly them out?
Well, in state, everything is driven.
No, that's what I meant. So like if it's a 1 day, drive a couple hours in the car, you're going to take your animals with you.
It's fine.
How does the Delta thing work? So you go to a Delta hub and just box them all up and
box everything up. They go Delta Cargo and you pick them up after you fly out. Commercial or whatnot. You just pick them up.
Do they fly on the same plane as you?
No.
Okay, so they'll go. You send them before you go, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know you could send them. You'll do that just because it's bulk animals, right? It's multiple animals that you're sending out.
Yeah, or you could FedEx your animals to a homie or whatnot. Yeah. That works. So
when you do the UPS, so it just goes to another from hub to hub, just like we do with FedEx. You pick it up at the airport, same airport you land at.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then if you're flying like Pomona, do you take all your stuff with you, like your setup, your banners, all that stuff?
Everything goes cargo as well.
Oh, okay. So the whole thing, the snakes and the
gotcha. Separate. The animals go separate. The other cargo goes separate.
How many animals do you like to take with you to a show? Is there a set number? Or does it depend on the event?
Depends on the size of the show. How many, the foot traffic. Like Pomona, next time I go to Pomona, I'm going to want to take 100 animals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
This last time I went, I think I took 50.
And then do you have guys that are already bought that are picking up, or those first time people are seeing them is when the show opens?
It all depends. It depends. Yeah.
But your first show at Pomona was no pre-sales. You sold everything there, like without pre-sales, right?
But I had two people that were supposed to pick up that didn't pick up. I had the animals there. But yeah, there was everything was sold at Pomona. Yeah.
And then off those 50 animals, how many did you bring back?
I think I sold I sold 35 animals that weekend.
Yeah. He killed it, bro. It was cool to see. Because like I said, like I'm very, I don't want to say brand new to vending, but I've only vended like 2 years now, like maybe 3 or 4 shows, and I just go to fucking chop. I love chopping up with people about the podcast. I'll sell snakes, but this motherfucker comes to sell. You know what I mean? And to see his energy and the way he's able to pull people in and just like, dude, it was impressive to see this dude work behind the booth, man. He fucking killed it.
I have a retail background. I was a department manager for one of the biggest grocery chains in America for 20 years. And bro, I got 20 years in the game with ball pythons. You know, I mean, I take it serious. I'm detailed, just like you were saying earlier. And guess what? More than anything, you know, me and MJ talk about it all the time. We fucking love what we do, man. We love what we do, and we take it serious, and we want to bring more people into the game. We want to build the game. You know, the game is not dying. It dies for those that get out. Yeah. Just like when the world doesn't end when someone dies. The world ended for the person that tragically passed away.
Yeah. World keeps spinning, dude. Don't stop.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would get out of ball pythons. To me, it's super fucking cool. It's super cool.
Yeah.
My boy was like, you won't dislike it until you start breeding rodents.
I mean, that he's not probably wrong, but you know, but also though too, like once you realize how important it is to breed your own rodents, you don't give it. It's like, you know, it's like picking up snake shit. You have to do it. It's kind of something where you know, one of the Milo's talked about this a lot.
Like an insurance policy for your collection.
Yes, bro, because you could have the best hookup for years. I had a fucking rodent hookup for 8 years, bro, never missed, and all of a sudden they got wiped out by a heat wave, and they were hard. It was really hard for them to bounce back, which made me have no choice but to start breeding my own rodents again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Next year I'm going to buy a bigger house, and I'm going to take into account to have a rodent room, reptile room, shop for ToeHold. So when I buy a house, it's going to have all three of those elements incorporated into it. Even if I don't breed the rodents right away, it needs to have that, because as the collection gets bigger, you got to protect it. And then the guy that we buy from here in Nevada, he's one of the bigger rodent breeders, I think, in the state. But he says too, he's really unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like he has some medical problems and stuff. So you know, something happens,
you never know.
The whole town will be out of rodents basically.
And not only that, bro, like once you have fucking babies, like think about once you have a wall of babies, bro, those babies need to eat. I'm talking like you know, in a sense, motherfuckers that are at that higher end level, they feed their babies twice a week. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a lot of rodents. You know what I mean? A lot of people just get their rodents people who aren't breeding, they get rodents once a week, but there are times where you need to feed throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot easier when you can just go to your rodent shed and get what you want versus like, you know, I got to wait till Friday again or something, you know?
Yeah. You're totally right about that. And then there's something I worry about. And I don't know if this is a real concern. You guys tell me if it is, but I've seen, not from my current guy, but from a guy I was buying from before, I've seen like rodent mites on some of the rodents.
Wow.
And I was like, well, look, how are they treating them? What kind of chemical are they going to put on the snake or put on the rat? And is it going to affect my snakes? You know what I mean? So I switched from that guy. I haven't ordered from him since, but it's like that stuff like that is what worries me. You know, I'm super anal about stuff like that.
Well, think about somebody who, I mean, I think mites could go from snakes to rats too. Like if you have a mite problem in your reptile collection and you breed fucking rodents and you're not Mr. Clean about it, like, dude, you're putting mites on those rats. Probably.
I could be wrong. You guys are the pros, but I think they're different types of mites. I think
maybe I wouldn't know. I don't know about rat mites. I just know rats can get mites. I don't know if it's the same species of mites or whatever, but mites to me are fucking no good. I don't want nothing to do with mites at all. Period.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like a lice.
Right.
Exactly. Like a flea almost.
Like a flea lice type thing. But
yeah, so
it's rare. The person has to be like a shitty ass rodent breeder.
Yeah, you got to be real dirty.
You know, you're supposed to wash down your rodents before you sell them and whatnot. You're supposed to take precautions to protect your customer. You know.
So just me being OCD, like I seen one flea looking thing on a rat 8 months ago, you know what I mean? And I was like, I can't buy from that guy ever again. Like that's how OCD I am. So that's why I want my own collection, just to protect from things like that.
Yeah, and you obviously we all know prices is skyrocketing in every department in this world. There's people cutting corners in the rodent game big time right now. Big time. Like, I mean, dude, there's one of the, I can't say names, of course. I don't want another letter in the mail, but one of the bigger rodent companies that we've gotten in this hobby that they used to produce all their rodents in-house. All they are is a big third-party company now. So, but they claim they produce their own rats, but I got insight that they do not. But what they do is they have a big fucking semi-truck come every week and drop off a shit ton of rodents, and then they sell them acting like they're fucking producing them. Like, dude, that...
Are they selling live or frozen?
Oh, They do. It's all frozen thawed. My bad. It's frozen thawed.
So
Yeah.
they're probably
Oh, third party.
just producing a little bit of live for a local, and then all the frozen is to sell out.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from a business side, it makes sense, but yeah, whenever you're doing things just for the money, you're gonna start cutting corners all over the place. It's gonna make a big.
Dude. And we can't cut corners with living animals, man. Like when it comes to this shit, bro, like the people who cut corners are the ones who are checking out, bro. Like it's all about doing the harder work and what takes longer to be successful in this game versus like, let me fucking save money. Let me hurry up and like find a quicker way to get this done. You know, like it just doesn't work like that here.
Yeah. When I first started, I bought a truckload. This is so stupid. I bought a truckload of bedding from like North Carolina. What do people use? What's the other one called? Is it Cypress?
Aspen, or Cypress? Yeah.
Cypress. Yeah. So I ordered a truckload of that. Had it come out and was like, I don't really like this, and just wanted to throw it in my backyard, bro. I bought a
bunch of bolts.
It's in my backyard right now. I covered my whole backyard with it. And then I switched to the shredded cocoa stuff.
Hey, I have people that swear by Cypress though, bro.
Yeah.
I could smell, like I got a real sensitive nose. I can smell that wood is not absorbing like anything. And because we're in the desert, there's no humidity here. Yeah, so you would spray it and that afternoon it'd be bone dry. Yeah. At least with the cocoa, I can spray it, and for a couple of days, it's gonna stay moist. You know, I got sprayed like 3 times a week, but it'll be bone dry out here. We have like 2% humidity. It's crazy.
AG, good. Let's talk about the story I posted. So I posted a story of a snake on some newspaper. It was like it was coupon fucking Smart and Final paper.
Yeah.
And AG's like, hey, MJ, next time I'm in San Diego, I'm going to bring you some Substrate.
I'm going to bring you some fucking bedding, bro. I was like, what the fuck is that?
I was like, AG thinks I'm like poor and I can't afford bedding.
I thought that was like a snake out in the wild crawling through like a dumpster or something.
I'm just paper, bro. Like I've tried so many times to go back to COCO, and I have, but I just like I'm OCD too, bro. And I don't mind cleaning almost every day if I have to, but I just love paper. And I ran out of. I usually use storage paper from Lowe's, but I just ran out, so I used my Smart and Final fucking coupon paper.
So in my quarantine, and this is just personal preference. Like I said, you guys are the experts. You guys have done this forever. Yeah. In my quarantine rack, like when I get a new snake, I keep them on paper. I can smell when I walk in the room, you know, when they use
everything. The shit. Like yeah.
To me, I can't do it. With COCO, I don't know until I open up the bin and I see the urates or I see the, you know, that it used the bathroom. I can't smell it at all. But with paper, I can smell that stuff so far away.
So here's another thing that drove me crazy with COCO, right? Because you know some of these shits are fucking gnarly that they do, right? So whenever you would go and spot clean, you would see some of the watered shit just dripping all the way down to the front of the tub, where that whole substrate is dirty now. So now you got to for me personally, I don't spot clean knowing that there's still shit liquid going all the way down the bin. I throw that hole out and I start all over. So in a sense, I'm like, it's almost like paper to me, because if I see shit in that fucking bin, I'm throwing all the cocoa chip away and I'm putting new cocoa chip. And that's just time consuming for me.
Yeah, I don't spare the cocoa chip, and I'll use as much as I need to and as often as, you know, switching them out. But for us, the humidity, you're in San Diego, the humidity is different, especially in Miami. But
it's okay. It's pretty bad here too.
It's crazy to have
paper.
Yeah, you couldn't do it out here. It's too dry.
And you don't humidify your room?
In it too. What's that?
You don't humidify your room? You don't have a humidifier in your room?
No.
You should get one of those. They're called air cares. They're on Amazon. That's what I did, because dude, I'm more East San Diego, like inland a little bit. So
which part of San Diego are you in?
I'm in Spring Valley, next to Rancho San Diego.
Yeah, I know where.
So it gets super dry where I'm at, and I was struggling big time. And so I got they're called air cares. They're on Amazon. They're like, they're $5.
It's not a bad idea. I might do that.
Dude, it's game changer. I'm telling you right now. And even with cocoa chip, it's even easier, because you got the cocoa chip that appreciates the humidity in the room. And so, but man, humidity was my biggest Achilles heel until I fucking got those 2 air care machines in here. And now my humidity in my room on an average is 65, 60.
Yeah.
in the room, and the snakes love that shit, bro.
Yeah. From the cypress, is it cypress, right? To COCO.
Yeah,
Maybe the COCO was leaps and bounds. I mean, the snake would technically live on anything, but for me, I want to provide the best environment for it. I put a lot in there and I let them burrow down. A lot of my snakes will burrow down into it and stuff. Like they'll like lay underneath it.
I mean, they're ground dwellers. That's what's in the wild. They're under the ground. People don't realize that. You get all the fucking bioactive ball python lovers out there, but you're like, they're not exposed in the wild, right? Like they're fucking under the dirt, like way under the dirt. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I wouldn't feel right keeping one in an aquarium just for me. It's on display.
There's so many other cooler reptiles that you could put in a fucking bioactive, where a ball python, it just doesn't make sense. Like. That's not real life. Like, it's cool that you did that. Oh, it's on the branch, but bro, they're hiding in the wild. They don't want to be seen. That's why they're the biggest pussy snake of all time is a ball python. Like their defense mechanism is going into a ball.
Right. Do we have time to talk about the green tree pythons, like their breeding cycles and some of that type of stuff, like that market? Do we have a few minutes to talk about that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, fuck, that's.
I don't know anything about them. I just know they sit in that cool ball in the middle of the stick. I want one maybe for our entranceway one time.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about a display reptile, like, dude, you can't go wrong. I mean, emerald tree boa, green tree python, Amazon tree boas, like any arboreal snake will be a great display snake. And as far as keeping them goes, probably just as easy, if not easier, than ball pythons. Once you keep them. Now, breeding, I mean, we would need a whole fucking episode to talk about breeding, because that's where things kind of get difficult. That's where people struggle, because these snakes can handle a lot until you put them in a breeding position, and then some of them stress out and shit like that. So if your husbandry isn't 100% on point, you will find out once you start breeding chondros and emeralds. You know what I mean?
How long from when they're born until they're able to breed?
I mean, it all ranges, right? Like there's no guarantees, but a male could breed as early as like a year. Maybe, I would say maybe a year and a half to 18 months. A male could breed and show spurs. Female, I've heard females go as young as 3, but you don't want that, man. Like the maturity is on your side with green tree pythons or emeralds. So for me, I like to breed my green tree python females at like 5 and 6 years old. Yeah, and I see more success that way. And also, mind you, these chondros give you anywhere from like 10, 15 to 30 eggs. You know what I mean? Versus a fucking, a 10, 12 egg ball python clutch. So you get literally the double the amount of eggs, but it's literally the double or triple amount of work to get them to go the distance. Like getting them out of the egg, getting them to eat, that's the hard. Getting eggs is the easy part. Getting them to fucking live is the harder part. You know what I mean?
When they lay eggs, do they go down into a substrate and lay them? Or
I don't know if you could see. Actually, so I have a nest box in this one. You can't see, but yeah. So I basically once they ovulate and once they have their prelay shed, 7 days after their prelay shed, I put a nest box in there, and I put it right in the middle of the enclosure where it's halfway under the basking, halfway not. And so about 10 days after they have their prelay shed, they go in that nest box and they don't leave it for like 3 days, and then you just you keep checking, and then sure enough, there they are. Then they lay. So
how cool.
Yeah.
How cool. Do they lock up in the tree? Like when they lock, is it in the tree?
Yeah. So they just hang their tail and they fuck just like that. Yeah. I've had some ground and pound. I had some ground and pound action earlier this year where the female, I don't know why the female went to the ground, but she went to the ground. The male went down to the ground with her and just fucking took her to town and went the distance. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right, listen, wrap up topic of the episode. I'll go first, and then we'll have Emilio do his wrap up question or topic. Either way, it's going to be a real easy one. But how do you just feel right now being where you're at in the ball python game? I know a lot of it's exciting, but do you have any kind of doubts, any kind of nervousness, like anything that you want to get out there, or maybe there's an experience that like you could share that you've had so far? Let's hear it from you, AG.
Gosh, I feel super lucky. Like having guys like Steve from Las Vegas Ball Pythons, guys like Miguel. Like if I have a question, I know I'm asking people that are experts. I mean, I've been super lucky. So I've heard stories on guys getting into it and they'll do some things wrong, quote unquote wrong, for a long time before they realize it's wrong. I've just been blessed to where before I could make a mistake, they're already helping me. So I don't have any apprehension. Obviously, I'm excited to do things, but my most important thing is I want to make sure that I always take the animal into account. Like that's always the priority. Like I still look at them as like they're pets of mine. You know what I mean? Like every one of them, I take them, I look at them, I hold them, I examine them. You know, I can't do them every single day, but at least once a week, everybody gets held, looked at, you know, spend at least a couple of minutes with them. So that to me is still the best part. The breeding them is the byproduct, but just owning them and giving them like a good home and a good living environment, and then just enjoying the way they look. That to me is the most important part. And that's what I'm enjoying the most right now.
So you enjoy the keeping side of things more than anything right now.
Big time. Yeah. Big time. Like when I'm gone all day, I want to get home and just check on them, see what they're doing. And guess what? I'm not doing anything.
No, they're right there. They might be on the other side of the tub, 7 inches to the right, but they're there.
They're doing nothing, but I still just want to check on them. You know, I mean, every morning, wake up looking for that shed to send off, you know, because some of them, you know, there's a couple other that need a test for lace. And I got a couple other like monsoons I'm looking at, like het monsoons I want to test. So there's a couple of them every day that just patiently go up to the tub. And I'm hoping today's the day that, you know, they'll shed.
All right.
Or follicle checking. I like follicle day too.
You got hold on before we get to Emilio. Do you ultrasound yet or no?
Yeah, I got a nice ultrasound. Getting decent at it. I got a good setup. How I did. I showed Miguel, and Miguel was like, "That works really well." So cool. I just have it set up to where it's fairly easy to do. But some of these females are such voracious eaters that like it's hard to get through all those rats in their belly to really see the follicles sometimes.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Biggie, what you got? Oh, go ahead.
One of them ultrasound that we didn't ultrasound her. We ultrasound her. She already had eggs in her. Like she laid like a week later.
Oh shit! So she had already ovulated.
Yeah, she was the first. One of the first snakes that I got. She just got paired up. It slipped my mind on that. And then when we checked her, she already had eggs. So she had four big eggs in her.
Yeah. Oh, epic. All right, Biggie, what you got?
All right. So for me, it's simple. What is that number one experience or strength that you could take from you building ToeHold into building Koil?
So that's a good question. There's a lot of them, but it really comes down to God. There's so many of them. The quality is always the most important part. It's always the most important because you could produce a snake and guys could be like, "That's a cool snake," or you're the first person to hit. Let's just say with snakes, right? You can be the first person to hit that snake, and you could be the one that determines, is that project going to go further, or does that just look like a terrible example? No one's excited about that. Or did you take all the best examples of those, more the best yellow belly, the best spot nose, the best clown, whatever, and when you produce that snake that people have been waiting to see, are they going to see that, be excited, and that's going to further the project on? Or did you create that snake with such poor ingredients that people are going to see that and be like, man, you see what AG made? That's not very, like, I don't know if there's any real estate left to go down that road. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Producing something that's quality, that looks good, and that keeps the project. I don't want to be the one that railroads a project because, you know, you're the guy that hits, you know, the Desert Ghost, Clown, Exantic, and they're like, "Oh, bro, that looks terrible," right? But they hit it. It looks awesome. But you have the guy with the bad examples. You've been breeding bad examples. That bad example is going to reflect in the final, and then you're like, "Dude, you killed that project by showing people that."
Yep.
I like Cosmo a lot, and I've seen some out there where I was like, "I don't think that's Cosmo. That looks crazy." And I'll see some like, "That's the coolest looking morph ever." And I see other ones where I was like, "I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at."
Yeah.
And
No, I hear you.
So I don't know. But I'll see it. I was like, I don't fucking know. Like, that's not the same morph I fell in love with.
No,
you know?
Dude, I'm so glad you said that because Ralph is the Cosmos guy, right? Is that name Ralph, the guy from Europe, the one who discovered it? So,
but I could say for sure
the first set of Cosmos that were being put out there were like insane looking Cosmos, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And then once I found out Justin had some, and I was visiting his collection, I was pulling some. and I saw some Cosmo clowns, and I'm like, I was like, that doesn't look like the fucking Cosmos that I saw the dude post. And then Emilio went and showed some Cosmos that look completely different than the Cosmos that I looked at Justin's. And I was like, okay, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So I just think it all depends what's in that. Or maybe Cosmo wasn't even in those. Who fucking knows? I don't know. But all I know is like the ones where I've seen, and I'm like, holy shit, that's impressive, you know?
We also have to be breeding stuff into these incompletes or these recessives that are going to make them better. Not minimize the effect. So, you know, things we'll learn with time, especially with new genes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on guys like you, like the OG guys in this, you know, like, hey, I got this. Should I breed this into it or should I breed this into it? You know what I mean? I don't want to just be doing stuff willy-nilly. And I want to make sure that, like, you know, that ultimately that snake that we breed needs to go to a home, whether it's going to somebody who's going to keep it as a pet or someone who's going to breed it. It needs to go to a home. So I think that's the important part, is making sure we're making just the best snakes, not just making snakes to make snakes.
Desirable snakes, man.
Desirable snakes.
Sure. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Good episode, man. Well, I'm glad we got this finally in. I guarantee this ain't the only time we see AG on Trap Talk. I can't wait to have you back on, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I learned a lot from you guys too. Thanks to everybody to listen. If there's any business side advice anybody needs or I can help with, shoot me a message on Instagram. We respond back quickly. I can't help a lot with like the breeding side, but anything business related, the marketing, the communication side, that stuff we know extremely well.
Fuck yeah. But listen, before we go, we got hot seat questions for you, okay, AG? So, I mean, hot seat questions. Everyone gets served the hot seat their first time here. So, guys, in the chats, let's get the likes up. If you're not already smashing that like button, please do that right now, because it's the hot seat question part of the episode. The way these work, AG, the faster the better. Just rapid fire, okay? You cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hot seat questions. I'll go first, and then Emilio ends it in his style of hot seat questions, okay? All right, here we go. Hot seat questions coming in hot. Frozen thought or live?
Live.
First thing you would feed a baby ball python?
A small mouse.
Egg cut or no cut?
What'd you say?
Egg cut or no cut?
Oh, egg cut. Yeah, egg cut.
On what day?
So the 55th day.
Okay.
Am I way off? Yeah,
No,
is that good?
Yeah, I'm like 52, 55. I'm in that same range.
Hey,
I
especially
didn't want to
with
be the early guy. I didn't want to be the early guy.
Yeah, there's been rumors of a guy in Canada cut on day 40. Okay. So,
Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
hey, Krug, you're killing it. Thank you. All right, here we go. Red chondro neo or yellow chondro neo? So you know these baby chondros come either in yellow or red. What color would you pick?
Is this for me or for him?
No, this is only for you, AG. This is you.
Red. I do red.
Okay. Yay imports or boo imports, if it was up to you?
I don't know what that is.
So importation, like reptiles from a different country, like being able to import reptiles to the United States and vice versa.
Oh, did you say, what was the question though?
So yay imports or boo imports?
God, I imported some stuff from Germany. It was a bit of a pain, but it got done. So it yay if it's a banger.
Okay. I like that. Yay sports or boo sports?
Sports. I love sports.
Okay. Favorite sport?
Football.
Nice. Favorite football team?
Chargers, of course.
Damn it, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, listen, I'm a San Diegan my whole life, but guess what? Raiders, Dodgers, Lakers all day, every day. I was just raised that way, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm the only one from San Diego that still likes the Chargers, bro.
No, yeah.
Still likes the Chargers.
The real diehard fools still like the Chargers. I have cousins that are still all about the Chargers. I got a cousin who has a Charger bolt in his back. Holy shit. That aged well.
Yo, how the hell did you guys lose the Chargers? Like,
that doesn't make sense. I don't know why San Diego, the number one city in the fucking goddamn country, doesn't have a football team. It doesn't make sense.
Let's talk about football super fast, and I know you guys got to go.
Sure, you're good.
Chargers were in LA for a year, right? They went to San Diego for 50 years. They went back. Everyone lost their mind. The Raiders went from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, to Vegas. Nobody cared. Like nobody, they didn't lose one fan. What should have happened is the Raiders should have went back to LA. The Chargers should have came to Vegas because the Charger had a huge fan base out here.
Yeah.
But they fucked it up. So LA, like we better win back-to-back-to-back championships in LA, or like they're always going to be like the 8th most popular team in LA.
Hey,
Yeah.
but let me say this: the NFL didn't want the Raiders back in LA, bro.
I know.
Too much. Yeah. All right, here we go. Moving forward. Big flexor or no flexor?
Flexor. What do you mean by that?
You come on, bro. We all know. You flexing or not flexing?
You're a flexor, dog. You're a flexor.
There you go. All right.
Hey,
All right.
they be flexing.
Hey, flexing.
His models flex, that's for sure.
That's right.
All right. Where did it go? All right, here we go. Moving forward. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Bone-in ribeye.
Fuck yeah. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay alcohol and nice and Yeho tequila on the rocks.
Okay, I was gonna ask you your favorite alcohol beverage, but there it is. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Neither. Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Marty Robbins.
Dude,
Old school country, baby.
normally I would have to make you pick one, but because you said Willie Nelson, that was epic. I'm gonna leave.
I barely know who those guys are, dude. I've heard of them. I have no idea what they sing.
All right, what about West Coast rap or East Coast rap if you had to pick?
West Coast.
Okay, favorite West Coast rapper or rap group of all time?
God, it would have, not much into rap, but it'd have to be Tupac, obviously, from, just because.
All
But,
right.
you've heard all the crazy shit that came out about, all about those guys.
For sure. All right, here we go. Little word association. Just say the first thing to come to mind. You ready?
All right, let's do this.
Milk.
Cookies.
Substrate.
Newspaper.
FedEx shipping.
Hub.
Least favorite ball python morph.
The least favorite, probably pastel, I guess.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite ball python morph?
Super Hurricane.
Okay,
Well,
there you go.
I would say spider is my favorite, but we can't work it. But as far as like just a one that looks sick, they need to find a substitute for spider, bro, because it's so sick looking.
Yeah, or they need to name something else spider, because spider's a cool name, and it sucks that
it's
they're
a cool name. It's a cool morph, but the fucking head wobbling thing.
all right.
Yeah, Super Hurricane.
All right. Instagram trolls.
Oh, we got tons of them, bro.
Okay. Last but not least, and then Emilio's turn. Say the first thing to come to mind. You ready?
Yeah.
Coolest reptile network in the world.
Trap Talk.
Woo! All right, Emilio, what you got?
All right, man. I'm gonna give you two options, and you're gonna tell me what you're gonna keep. Okay?
All right.
DG or Hypo?
DG.
Ultra Pied or Dreamsicle?
A Dreamsicle.
DG Pompeii or DG Exantic Clown?
DG Exantic Clown.
DG Pied or Hypo Pied?
DG Pied.
Sunset or Monsoon?
Monsoon.
Nice.
All right, ToeHold flip flop. Now croc or soft croc?
Saltwater.
You didn't expect that, huh?
It's a good one.
He was ready, though. He was ready.
All right, puzzle or clown?
Clown.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Two Life Crew or NWA?
NWA.
Nice.
All right.
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Yes, finally.
And then this one's funny, but it's a good question because with one song, this fucking guy took over the world for a little bit. Vanilla Ice or Hammer?
Vanilla Ice, dude.
Hell yeah, I agree.
I agree.
That one song like blew up Hammer and like all this shit Hammer did.
They still play it today, like on Instagram Reels and TikTok.
And it goes off.
Still
Dude,
hits.
once you hear that beat go off anywhere, you're getting pumped up still to this day. Yeah. It's still hard as fuck, for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, those two flip-flops, I like them. The Now Croc and the Salt Croc.
Now the salt, yeah. We're almost out of the saltwater. Saltwater is almost discontinued.
That's dope.
Hard to get in.
I'm copping a pair. Yeah, we had a few people in the chats that actually had some of your ToeHold shoes, and they can't stop ranting about it. So
really?
the proof is in the chats tonight.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Listen, great episode. Where can people follow you at? Well, Koil Snakes is the best place maybe to reach out to you regarding snake stuff, and then like business stuff should be ToeHold, you think? Or
ToeHold is the main thing we're on all day. So it's TOE_HOLD. You'll see the logo on your shirt. We're a little bit shadow banned, so sometimes we're hard to find. It'll see the ToeHold logo. If you message us there, we'll get back to you usually almost in real time. Koil, I'm on it throughout the day, but every hour I'm probably logging in. So those are the two best places. If you want to see our flip-flops, shop ToeHold.com. If you want to see hot chicks with huge tits, go to our Instagram at ToeHold.
yeah, Bill Stiegel.
You'll see 0 flip-flops on our Instagram.
Yeah, dude, I'm almost seeing like, I don't know. I see snakes on Koil, but I'm also starting to see another change.
Yeah, you're going to see chicks on Koil also. That's going to be our thing. It's going to be hot chicks and snakes.
All right. Well, listen, all the links, the homie AG's platforms in the description below. Go check it out. And I can't wait to have you back on. But guys, for now, do me a favor. Give it up for the homie Big AG, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, next time we'll have Miguel on this one, okay? No matter what. So I got you.
Miguel's down the street drinking. I'm going to hit him up right now.
Okay. All right, bro. Have a good one, AG. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Peace. Oh, man, that was great. That was funny. Dude, when he said, "Hey, are you allowed to cuss on this show?" I said, "Fuck yeah." He's like, "Yeah, so don't fuck any fat chicks." I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Where the fuck?"
Yeah,
that was epic.
That was funny.
That was epic, dude.
Yeah, he's a persona, man. He's a great guy. Can't wait to meet him in person.
I can't imagine being around him and Miguel at the same time. That's because Miguel is he's his own person, so that's gonna be nuts to do something fun. I got to bring your ass to Vegas with me. We'll do it together. Yeah. But yeah, man. So overall, what'd you think of tonight?
Great. A lot of good info. Quality in, quality out. The guy knows marketing.
Definitely
gonna do well with the snakes, man.
Yeah, and the thing about AG that I learned is like not leaving anything on the table. Whatever it is that you're doing, find a way to perfect it and find a way to do the extra little stuff, because people like AG pay attention to that shit. You know what I mean? And imagine the people who would have thought, like, remember he talked about earlier how he was shopping on Morph Market, probably just got done spending $30K and was inquiring for another snake, and the guy didn't want to take a simple fucking belly shot. And mind you, I guarantee that guy could have used that money. You know what I mean? Who knows? I think a lot of the people who are having a hard time selling could use that money, but guess what? They're not selling.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Fucking, you know what I mean? Good episode though. Hey, Thursday night's going down. So be ready. Got Big E Top G and Justin Kabelka to really hone down the topic on shed test results versus breeders mis-IDing shit. You know what I mean? Where do we find the fix in this? And obviously I want you a part of this conversation with Justin, because you two are, in my eyes, one of the most relevant ball python breeders we have in the game today. So we got to maybe talk about this. We got to figure this shit out for these people. You know what I mean? Because it sucks seeing frustration going on in the hobby. You know, on both sides. Like you pay for an animal, you get it tested, and it comes back not what you expected. And then the other way around, where the breeder just completely lied to you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get down to it this week. Yeah. So all right, Big E Top G, guys. Villarino Reptiles on Instagram. We'll give him a follow. Villarino Reptiles. Subscribe on his Instagram if you want some of the best information in the ball python game. You're gonna hear from this man right here. So yeah, catch him this Thursday night. But for now, give it up. It's a wrap for Big E Top G, Villarino Reptiles.
Good night, guys. Good night, brother.
Thanks, Big E. Appreciate it, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for tapping in. Before you head out, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, select all. You'll be reminded of every single podcast released out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network 7 days a week. 7 days a week, okay? But yeah, sorry for the late start. Or did we get a late start? I don't know, but I got to figure out how I'm going to get my desktop working. I think I just need a new Mac wireless keyboard since Leo pissed in it. Anyways, all right, guys. Hey, also, before I let you go, if you want exclusive content, if you want to get more out of what you see at each episode, come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. It's growing by the day. First link description below. Connect to the Discord and connect to the Instagram group chat. It is popping. But guys, I'll catch you tomorrow for All in the Tree Tuesday. Make sure you come hang out, all right? But that's a wrap. Episode 641 in the books. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Cheers.